The silent warning. In the vast darkness of space, Earth was a small, blue dot, but to the beings of the universe, it was a symbol of something powerful, something that should not be disturbed. For centuries, Earth had lived in peace, unaware of the many other species that existed across the stars. Humanity had built its own world, its own way of life, and it was proud of it. The stars above had always seemed so far away, too far for humanity to ever truly reach, yet, they watched the sky with curiosity, knowing that they were not alone. However, as humanity's technology advanced, so did their knowledge of the galaxy. They learned of other races, other worlds, some friendly, some dangerous, but one thing remained clear. Humanity's territory was sacred. There was a line, invisible to most, but clearly drawn in the stars. No one could cross it. Humanity's world was to be left untouched. There were warnings, silent, yet strong, sent out to all who could listen. These warnings were not loud or harsh, but simple messages, transmissions sent across the vast reaches of space, a message that said, "Do not enter, this is humanity's land, stay away." These warnings were understood by some, ignored by others, but the first warning, though soft, had been sent. It was clear, it was simple, and it was final, but not everyone listened. One day, an alien race, highly advanced and confident, heard the warning, but they didn't take it seriously. They thought they were too powerful to be stopped by a species like humanity. After all, humanity was still a young race compared to the others in the galaxy, but they were wrong. They did not know the true strength of humanity. This alien race, curious and eager to expand, made their way to Earth's borders. They crossed the threshold into humanity's territory, believing they could conquer it easily. The galaxy had seen powerful races come and go, but none had ever faced humanity. None had ever understood the warning humanity had sent out, until now. As the alien ships approached, humanity's systems activated. Slowly, almost invisibly, the human warships began to power up. They had been waiting for this moment. Silently, for years, they had prepared for the day when someone would dare to cross the line, and they would be ready. The alien fleet moved through space with confidence, unaware of the danger that waited for them. They entered humanity's domain without hesitation. They thought their advanced technology would allow them to crush whatever resistance they might find. They were wrong. Humanity had built its defenses not just with weapons, but with a force stronger than technology. It was their will to protect their world, a will that no other race could understand, and a will that would make them act without mercy. As the aliens entered the system, the silence was broken. Humanity's fleets rose from their hidden positions. Their warships, sleek and powerful, surrounded the intruders. The alien ships attempted to send communications, but their messages were ignored. Humanity had no interest in talking, not now, not after they had crossed the line. The warning had been clear, the boundary was set, and now the consequences would follow. The alien ships tried to flee, but it was too late. Humanity was faster, stronger, and more prepared than they could have ever imagined. They had crossed a line that should have been respected, and now, the silent warning had turned into a powerful strike. Humanity was no longer the small, weak species it once was. It had grown, learned, and adapted, and now, they would show the galaxy what happens when their warnings were ignored. The first step across the line. The alien fleet, confident and sure of its superiority, moved deeper into the heart of humanity's territory. Their sensors barely picked up the warning signal, dismissed as a simple threat. No need to worry, they thought, we've seen much stronger civilizations than this. What can humanity do? They had no idea that they were about to make a grave mistake. One by one, their ships crossed into the protected zone, unaware that they were already surrounded. Earth's atmosphere shimmered in the distance, just beyond the edge of the fleet, yet, none of the invaders realized they were already being watched. Every movement was observed, every maneuver anticipated. From deep within the shadows of space, humanity's warships began to emerge, their forms barely visible against the dark expanse. They moved with precision, faster than any of the invaders could react. The alien fleet, thinking they were alone, had no idea what was coming, until it was too late. The first blast struck with the force of a thunderstorm. A massive energy wave hit the lead ship of the alien fleet. Its shields flickered and sparked, unable to withstand the power of the strike. The ship shuddered violently as it tried to stabilize, but it was clear, the aliens were not prepared for this. They had underestimated humanity's capabilities. Panic spread through the fleet like wildfire. What is this? What kind of technology do they have? The alien commanders sent out desperate orders, trying to organize a defense, but their systems were already failing. Their weapons could barely touch humanity's ships, which seemed to appear from every direction, ready to strike again. The human fleet wasn't just strong, they were unified. Each warship was part of a greater whole, a single, coordinated force. The alien ships tried to fight back, but they were no match for the overwhelming power humanity had hidden for so long. It was more than just advanced technology, it was the result of years of preparation, a deep commitment to defend their world at any cost. For a moment, the alien fleet hesitated, unsure of how to respond, but they couldn't afford to retreat, not now, not after coming this far. They knew they had crossed a line, but they didn't know the full consequences of their actions. As the fighting raged on, one of the alien ships managed to break through the human lines, a desperate move to escape, but humanity was ready. The alien ship didn't get far. With terrifying speed, a human warship appeared from behind the fleeing ship and unleashed a concentrated beam of energy. The beam sliced through the alien vessel, cutting it clean in half, debris floating into the vacuum of space. The aliens were in shock. They had never seen such power, such precision. And still, the human fleet pressed forward. No words were spoken, no demands made. There was only one purpose now, to show the galaxy the cost of ignoring humanity's boundaries. The alien fleet, once so sure of their victory, now found themselves trapped, their escape routes cut off, one by one. Their shields flickered weakly, their weapons failed to make an impact. The human warships were relentless. They knew this battle would not be won by the aliens. It was only a matter of time before the invaders would be forced to surrender or face total annihilation. The message was clear. Humanity would not be ignored. The line had been drawn, and anyone who crossed it would meet the full force of humanity's wrath. The alien fleet, now disorganized and crippled, began to retreat, but their escape was blocked at every turn. Humanity's ships moved like a storm, never giving them a chance to flee. The invaders were trapped in their own mistake, and the silence of space was broken by the sounds of their desperation. The humans had not only defended their territory, they had proved something much larger. No one could threaten humanity's existence without facing consequences. Humanity's retaliation. The alien fleet, now scattered and broken, still didn't fully comprehend the scope of their error. Some ships limped away, trying to flee deeper into the galaxy. Others remained frozen in place, unable to move. The humans didn't chase them. They didn't need to. The message had been delivered, and the galaxy would soon know of humanity's strength. From the shadows of space, a new fleet of human warships appeared. They moved like shadows, fast and silent, positioned perfectly to surround the remaining alien forces. The humans weren't rushing into battle anymore. They didn't need to. Their strategy was clear. Patience. They would strike only when the time was right, and when they did, the aliens would never see it coming. Humanity's ships took positions, ready to finish what had started. The alien fleet, realizing their mistake, tried to regroup. They sent out frantic calls to their allies, but it was no use. No one could hear their cries for help. The humans had already sealed off the galaxy's communication channels. There was no escape, no reinforcements, just the cold, silent darkness of space. Then came the second wave. It wasn't just about the firepower anymore. It wasn't about the size of the human fleet. It was about precision, about taking every step with purpose. A single human warship moved to the front, its sleek, dark form cutting through space like a shadow. Its mission was clear. The alien ships tried to fire back, but their weapons were useless. Their shields had been shattered long ago. They fired blindly, hoping to hit something, but it was already too late. The human warship was too fast, too deadly. It moved like a ghost, slipping past the alien defenses with ease. In a single strike, the human ship disabled one of the largest alien cruisers. A massive energy beam shot from its main cannon, cutting through the enemy's defenses like paper. The alien cruiser exploded in a flash of light, scattering debris in every direction. The remaining alien ships watched in horror as one of their strongest vessels was reduced to nothing in the blink of an eye. The humans didn't stop. They were relentless, each warship a deadly force in its own right. The aliens couldn't keep up. They had misjudged humanity's strength, and now they were paying the price. Each alien ship that tried to escape was destroyed in seconds. None could outrun the humans. None could outfight them. Humanity's message was loud and clear: this was their territory, and anyone who dared to step foot in it would face the consequences. The alien fleet was dwindling fast, but it wasn't just about the fight anymore, it was about sending a message to every other race in the galaxy. This wasn't the first time humanity had been underestimated, and it wouldn't be the last, but the universe was about to learn a valuable lesson. Humanity would no longer remain a passive observer in the galaxy. They had drawn their boundaries, and they would protect them at all costs. As the final alien ships tried to retreat, humanity's warships moved to block them. They were surrounded, and there was nowhere to go. The invaders were trapped, their fleet destroyed, their mission a failure. Humanity had proven its point: Earth was off limits. The few remaining alien ships sent out their final distress signals, but it was too late. The humans didn't respond. They didn't need to. The aliens would leave with nothing, just the knowledge that they had made the gravest mistake of their lives, and the universe would remember what happened. The battle was over, but the message was far from finished. Humanity had stood its ground, and no one would dare challenge them again. The shocking truth. The remnants of the alien fleet were scattered, disoriented, their once proud ships reduced to burning husks floating in the cold emptiness of space. Yet, even as they limped away, wounded but still alive, the true nature of humanity's strength began to sink in. The invaders had thought they could push the humans aside, dismissing them as a young, primitive species, but now, they realized their mistake. Humanity wasn't just powerful, they were a force no one had fully understood until now. The alien commanders scrambled to understand what had happened. How could a species so young, so far behind technologically, have struck with such devastating precision? What was the secret to humanity's power? Their fleet systems had been disabled, their weapons useless, their shields overwhelmed in a matter of moments. It wasn't just the ships, it wasn't just the weapons, there was something deeper, something that had given humanity the strength to strike back with such overwhelming force. But humanity had a secret that had been hidden from the universe for centuries. For every alien species, power was measured in technology, in weapons, in ships, but humanity's strength came from something more. It was their resolve, their unity, their unwavering will to protect their home, no matter what the cost, no matter how strong the enemy. Humanity would fight with everything they had. As the alien fleet tried to retreat to their homeworld, broken and defeated, a transmission was sent to them, a single message, delivered from humanity's highest command. It was simple, direct, and chilling. We warned you, and now you will leave Earth's domain. You will never return, and if you do, you will face the same fate. The message was clear, and this time, it was not just a threat, it was a guarantee. Humanity had proven that they would protect their home at all costs, no matter who came, no matter what they brought. The alien forces, shaken and broken, didn't respond. They didn't need to. The truth was now clear to them. Humanity's boundaries were real, and crossing them had consequences. But there was more to this story, more than just a single victory. Humanity had proven its strength, yes, but they had also revealed their true nature to the galaxy, a species that could not be ignored, a species that had been underestimated, and now, a species that would never allow themselves to be pushed aside again. As the remaining alien ships limped away, the galaxy watched in silence. The message had been sent, and it was far from over. Humanity had made its mark on the universe, and from now on, no one would forget the warning. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. The aftermath. The dust settled, but the galaxy was left to deal with the echoes of humanity's warning. The invaders, broken and scattered, barely managed to escape Earth's defenses, their ships crippled, their pride shattered, but the galaxy would never forget what had happened that day. Humanity had spoken, and the universe had listened. The alien fleet, once so sure of their superiority, was now reduced to mere survivors. They had crossed the line, and now they understood. Humanity was not a species to be underestimated. But the cost of that realization was high. The damage was done. The confrontation had left a permanent scar, not only on the invaders but on every civilization watching from the shadows. But this wasn't the end for humanity. No, it was just the beginning. Earth had defended its boundaries, but the message was far bigger than one battle. Humanity had shown the galaxy what they were capable of, and now they would never be seen as weak again. No one could ignore the strength of a species willing to protect its home, even against overwhelming odds. The galaxy knew now, Earth was a force to be reckoned with, and crossing its borders would cost any invader far more than they could ever imagine. No longer would humanity remain hidden behind the shadows of the stars. Now, the universe would know them as protectors, as warriors, as survivors who would never back down. Back on Earth, the people stood united, watching as their world's name was carried across the stars. They had faced destruction, they had faced threats from the unknown, but they had triumphed, and they did it together, as one unified force. Humanity had proven that their strength wasn't just in their weapons, but in their hearts, their will, and their ability to fight for what mattered. But even as the victory was celebrated, there were whispers, there were rumors of other, even more dangerous forces out in the galaxy, forces that might one day test humanity again. But the humans knew something now that no one else could understand. They were ready. Earth was no longer just a world on the edge of the galaxy, it was a beacon of strength, and any who dared to challenge it would soon learn that they were far from alone. The galaxy, for all its complexity, had learned an important lesson that day: respect humanity's boundaries, or face the full wrath of their strength. And as the stars continued to shine above Earth, humanity stood vigilant, knowing that they had not only defended their home but had made it clear to the entire universe: their boundaries were set, and they would never be crossed again.